In Season 3, what truly sets Kimmie apart is not what she does, but what she allows others to believe. She understands something most characters never learn. People reveal their weakest points when they think they are in control. So Kimmie steps back and lets that illusion grow. She watches others talk big, make promises, and threaten each other openly. They believe power must be loud to be real. Kimmie knows better. She lets their confidence turn into carelessness. Every bold move they make gives her more information. Every emotional reaction shows her exactly how to handle them later. She doesn't interrupt. She doesn't correct. She absorbs everything, knowing that knowledge always beats noise. As Season 3 moves forward, Kimmie becomes someone people underestimate by habit. They remember the old version of her, the one who struggled, the one who was hurt, the one who seemed easy to corner. That memory works in her favor. People speak freely around her because they don't see her as a threat. They complain, they boast, they confess. Kimmie becomes a quiet space where others unload their plans and fears. She never confirms or denies anything. She simply listens. And in a world built on secrets, the person who listens the most ends up holding all the power. Without lifting a finger, Kimmie begins to know more than anyone else in the room. What makes her control even stronger is her patience. Kimmie doesn't rush to use what she knows. She understands that timing decides everything. If you act too early, you expose yourself. If you wait too long, you lose your chance. Season 3 shows Kimmie mastering that balance. She lets situations grow tense. She allows small problems to turn into bigger ones because she knows who will be blamed when things fall apart. While others scramble to fix their mistakes, Kimmie stays calm. Her calmness makes people trust her judgment. They start coming to her for advice, not realizing she already knows how their story ends. Another key part of Kimmie's strategy is how she handles loyalty. She doesn't demand it. She doesn't beg for it. She makes herself useful. She positions herself as someone people need, not someone they fear. When someone feels protected by Kimmie, they naturally side with her. When someone feels ignored by others, Kimmie becomes the only one who understands them. This is how her influence spreads quietly. No contracts, no threats, just presence. Just timing. People begin to make choices that benefit her without her ever asking them to. By the time conflicts explode in Season 3, Kimmie is never at the center of the chaos. She's always standing slightly to the side, untouched. When alliances break, she looks innocent. When plans fail, she looks surprised, but nothing is accidental. Every collapse happens along lines she already predicted. That's the brilliance of her control. She doesn't need credit for winning. She only needs the result. And as the season continues, it becomes clear that while others fight to sit at the table, Kimmie is quietly deciding who gets invited at all. Season 3 reveals that Kimmie's greatest weapon is her deep understanding of emotional pain. She has lived through betrayal, silence, and being treated like she didn't matter. Instead of letting those experiences turn into anger, she turns them into awareness. Kimmie knows how people behave when they feel threatened, guilty, or desperate because she has been there herself. This gives her an advantage no one else has. She doesn't guess what people might do next. She feels it coming. Every emotional shift in the room is something she notices and stores away for later use. Kimmie also understands that people are most dangerous when they are trying to hide fear. In Season 3, she never exposes anyone directly. She lets them expose themselves. When someone starts acting reckless, she doesn't stop them. She encourages calm, knowing they won't listen. When someone feels cornered, she offers sympathy instead of pressure. That sympathy lowers their guard. They speak more freely. They explain themselves. And every word they share becomes another piece of control in Kimmie's hands. She never pushes people into mistakes. She creates the space where mistakes happen naturally. Another important change in Kimmie this season is her emotional distance. She still feels deeply, but she no longer lets emotions lead her actions. This is where many others fail. They react when they feel hurt or challenged. Kimmie pauses. She lets feelings pass before making decisions. This pause gives her clarity. She sees long-term outcomes instead of short-term relief. Season 3 shows her choosing silence over confrontation again and again, and each time, it works in her favor. While others burn bridges, Kimmie builds quiet paths around them. Trust becomes a major theme in this part of the season. People begin to trust Kimmie because she doesn't judge them openly. She doesn't rush to take sides. She appears neutral, balanced, safe. But neutrality itself becomes a form of power. When everyone feels heard by Kimmie, they all believe she is on their side. That belief gives her access. She hears different versions of the same story. She notices contradictions. She sees who lies and who hides the truth. Slowly, she becomes the only person who understands the full picture. As season 3 continues, it becomes clear that Kimmie is no longer just reacting to the world around her. She is shaping it through emotional intelligence. She doesn't need violence or threats to stay ahead. She controls the emotional temperature of every room she enters. People calm down around her. They reveal more than they plan to. And by the time they realize what they've given away, it's already too late. Kimmie doesn't win by attacking. She wins by understanding. And in this season, understanding becomes absolute control. In season 3, Kimmie begins to use the system that once trapped her as a tool for her own control. She understands how rules are written, how power flows through favors, silence, and unspoken deals. Instead of fighting the structure around her, she studies it. She notices who benefits from chaos and who survives by staying invisible. This knowledge allows her to move without drawing attention. While others try to break the system from the outside, Kimmie works within it, bending it slowly until it starts working for her instead of against her. One of Kimmie's smartest moves this season is how she lets others destroy themselves. She never needs to expose anyone directly. She simply steps aside at the right moment. When someone lies, she doesn't correct them. When someone makes a risky decision, she doesn't warn them. She knows that people reveal their true nature when they believe no one is watching. Season 3 shows multiple moments where characters fall not because Kimmie attacked them, but because she allowed their own choices to catch up with them. Her hands stay clean, and that keeps her safe. Kimmie also becomes skilled at forming quiet alliances that don't look like alliances at all. She offers small help instead of big promises. She creates debts instead of loyalty. People don't even realize they owe her until it's too late to pull away. These connections are subtle, almost invisible, but they form a strong web around her. When trouble starts, those same people step in to protect her reputation, defend her name, or shift blame elsewhere. Kimmie never asks them to do it. They do it because they feel they should. As pressure builds in season 3, Kimmie's position becomes untouchable. Conflicts rise, trust breaks, and chaos spreads, but she remains steady. Others are forced to react again and again, while Kimmie stays one step removed from the mess. She knows exactly when to speak and when silence is more powerful. Every decision she makes is measured, not emotional. This discipline keeps her ahead while others burn out trying to control everything at once. By this point in the season, it becomes clear that Kimmie is no longer just part of the game. She is shaping its outcome. She doesn't need to stand at the center to control the direction. She understands that true power is not about being seen, but about being necessary. And as season 3 continues to unfold, the system that once crushed her now moves quietly around her, protecting her, advancing her, and proving that Kimmie has fully learned how to control the game without ever revealing her. By the time season 3 reaches this stage, Kimmie's control is no longer subtle to the audience, even if it remains invisible to the characters around her. She has learned how to let pressure build without stepping in too soon. While others panic when situations spiral, Kimmie stays still, allowing events to unfold exactly as she expected. This is where her patience turns into power. She understands that the system always corrects itself, but only if you don't interrupt it. When people rush to save themselves, they expose their weaknesses. Kimmie watches these moments closely, knowing they will matter later. What truly separates Kimmie from everyone else is her ability to stay emotionally detached. While remaining emotionally aware, she knows what people feel, but she no longer allows those feelings to control her. In earlier seasons, emotion made her vulnerable. In season 3, it makes her sharp. She listens without absorbing. She understands without forgiving too quickly. This balance keeps her from making reckless choices. Others act to feel better in the moment. Kimmie acts to secure her future. That difference slowly shifts the balance of power in every room she enters. Season 3 also highlights how dangerous it is to mistake Kimmie's silence for weakness. When conflicts explode, she is often the last person anyone suspects. She has already positioned herself away from blame. She has already planted doubts in the right places. So when the fallout comes, it hits everyone except her. People defend her without realizing why.